Hello my dear students of second preparatory stage. أهلا بكم طلابنا الأعزاء لمرحلة الصف الثاني الإعدادي لمادة اللغة الإنجليزية. زي كل مرة وزي ما احنا عارفين إن حلقتنا النهاردة تحت رعاية وإشراف وزارة التربية والتعليم. Let me just tell you what we are going to do this session. أو خلوني أقول لكم احنا هنعمل إيه النهاردة في حلقتنا. We already covered units 7, 8 and 9. إن احنا كده غطينا أو اتكلمنا في كل الحاجات وشرحنا كل الدروس في units 7 و 8 and 9. Okay? So today is the time of revision on these 3 units. Okay? Which is review C actually. So I want you to get ready with your books and your pencils, and even if you have a notebook, an empty notebook, you can get ready with to jot down after me any details you wanna write to help you later on while studying. يعني دلوقتي أنا عايزاكم تجهزوا بالكتب والأقلام وأي كراسة فاضية ممكن تكتبوا فيها أي معلومات إضافية تساعدكم بعدين. Okay? So let's now start our session. Let's go. Okay. So, as for the beginning, here, as I told you, it's review C, and for our objective of today, by the end of this session, you will be able to know and understand the previously explained lessons in units 7, 8 and 9. يعني النهارده we will cover all the lessons, revision on all the lessons concerning grammar, concerning reading, concerning writing. Okay? كل ده اللي احنا هنتناقش فيه النهارده على الجرامر والreading والwriting. So let's go. For the reading part, as we always start, here, read the medical advice and complete the sentences with should. But before I do so, I want to remind you of something. In the previous units, we talked about the if conditional to, which is actually I use it for prediction or I use it for advice. Okay? So, let me remind you quickly of it. If I have when or if, okay? So, I mean the part that contains if or when أو الجزء اللي فيه if أو when لازم to be in the present simple tense. Okay? And for the second part, I add a comma. Then in the second part, I add will plus infinitive form. Infinitive form means فعل في المصدر without adding any letters to it. Or won't plus infinitive. And as I told you before, won't means will not. Okay? So that was the rule quickly before we go through the coming details. Okay, let me erase it and then we will go through the slides. Here we have a picture of a handball team, and here it's a medical advice for people at the 2021 Handball World Championship. Championship يعني بطولة, وhandball world اللي هي بطولة كرة اليد العالمية. So we have here some medical advice. Just let me tell you something. Advice, there is nothing in English called advices. ما فيش حاجة خالص اسمها advices. Advice is uncountable noun, and if I want to make it in a singular form, I say a piece of advice. Okay? So, here, let's see the coming ones. The first piece of advice is to stand 1.5 meters from the other people. يعني you have to keep distance عشان طبعا ال COVID-19 أو coronavirus. So we have to keep distance between us and the other people. Enter and leave the stadium through the correct doors. إن ده تاني حاجة لازم نخلي بالنا منها، إن احنا لو داخلين استاد لازم to enter through the correct doors أو من الأبواب الصحيحة. Take a test for COVID-19 every 72 hours. إن احنا لازم نعمل test whether we are positive or negative every 72 hours. Then for the fourth one, only players do not need to wear a mask. طبعا players in the hall أو في صالة الألعاب المغطاة, they don't have to wear masks. Okay, as you see here in the picture. But only online interviews after games. يعني دايما بيبقى فيه مؤتمرات after the game, after the match, okay? Until then or during that time, the coach or the players have to be wearing masks, okay? Not during the game, I mean. Okay, here, we have to complete these phrases, okay, or these incomplete sentences with suitable phrases to continue forming a complete sentence with if. So if I have here something like, if you meet other people, now You should stand 1.5 meters from them. طبعا احنا we are completing these incomplete sentences with the medical advice we have just read. Okay, بنكمل من الميديكال advice اللي احنا لسه قاريينها. Then number 2, if you enter, see here, I have enter in the present simple tense because I have the part of if. So this means in the second part I add will or should. If I'm predicting something, I use will or won't. If I'm giving advice, I use should or shouldn't plus infinitive. Okay? So if you enter or leave the stadium, according to what we have read, you should go through the correct doors. Then, if you are a player, what you should do here is you shouldn't wear a mask. زي ما قلنا, during the game, players do not wear masks. Only after the game or during the interviews. Number 4, if you are not a player, if you are one of the fans, لو أنت واحد من الجماهير, according to what we have read, what should you do? You should wear a mask, of course. And if you have an interview after the game, of course you should wear a mask. Okay, so that was just like a quick recap on the usage of if in the prediction form or in the advice, when you give advice. Here we have to focus on something else, which is the difference between a lot of and little. Okay, let me just remind you of the difference between a little and a few. For example, if you are remembering now, a little, I use it for countable or uncountable nouns. I guess some of you guessed it correctly. Yes, I use a little for the uncountable nouns. يعني الحاجات اللي ما بتتعدش, الأسماء اللي ما بتتعدش, زي الكميات أو زي السوائل. Like a little water, a little juice, ومعناها قليل. But when I use a few, I use it for countable nouns. يعني للأسماء اللي بتعد. A few people, a few boys, a few chairs, a few desks, ومعناها برضو قليل, بس للأعداد. Okay? A lot of, I use it for countable and uncountable nouns. For both, is used for both. Okay? طيب, according to the meaning and according to countable or uncountable nouns, I will choose the correct word now. There will be a lot of or little players at the 2021 Men's Handball World Championships. So here, do I have to choose a lot of or little players? Of course, what about players? We have here, yes, a countable noun, يعني اسم بيعد. That's why I can't use little. I can't use a little, okay? But it's a lot of players, يعني كتير. Okay. The Championships Medical Committee. Committee, guys, here, it's a new word. It means لجنة. Like لجنة حكام, لجنة القضاء, لجنة مشرفة على حاجة. Okay? This is committee. The Championships Medical Committee want to make sure that all the people at the competition يعني منافسة, are able to or know how play together safely. Here, let me remind you of the usage of know how play. I have to add to know how to play. Okay? So when I say know how, it should be followed by to. يعني لما بستخدم know how, which means can, okay? I have to add to, infinitive to. لازم أحط to plus infinitive verb. But here I don't have to after know how. That's why I use are able to and then I complete play. Are able to play together safely. For that reason, comma, they want only a few or little people. People is countable or uncountable. I have to decide first. يعني لازم أحدد النون اللي عندي بيعد ولا لا يعد. Okay? People here is a countable noun. That's why I have to choose a few people to use the doors to the stadium at the same time. People who are not playing need to wear a mask. You can a lot or a little of these just outside the stadium and they are free to use. So you can find a lot or a little of these. Can you guess? It's a lot of these, okay? A lot of these. Just outside the stadium and they are free to use. All players should, can, know how to get a COVID-19 test every 72 hours. هتبقى should, can, or know how to get a COVID-19. Let's see the answer now. Okay, all players should know. لأن أنا ما ينفعش أقول should can. I can't have two modal verbs after each other. يعني ما ينفعش يبقى عندي should will or should can. This is totally incorrect in English, okay? That's why I add should plus infinitive plus how to and then infinitive verb. Okay. So, complete the review with these words: acting, action, costume, play, script, and scenery. And let me remind you of the meaning of every one of them. خلوني أفكركم كل كلمة معناها إيه. طبعا acting like when you perform in a play or in a movie يعني التمثيل. Action, the action itself that happens during the movie. الحدث نفسه. Costume اللي هو الأوتفيت أو الزي اللي بيتلبس في المسرحية أو in a movie في الفيلم. Play here it doesn't mean to play like a verb. No, it's a noun and it means مسرحية. Play, something which is acted or performed on a stage. Script like a dialogue, the script of the play, ده النص المسرحي. And then a scenery المشهد الطبيعة أو background scenery اللي بيكون on a stage على المسرح during the play أو خلال المسرحية. Now we have here a review of Julius Caesar. And Julius Caesar is one of the plays written by the great English writer William Shakespeare. هو ويليام شكسبير ده كان English writer كاتب English وكتب واحدة من المسرحيات بتاعته كانت اسمها جوليوس سيزر. طبعا جوليوس سيزر هنعرف عنه دلوقتي هو مين بالظبط، شخصية تاريخية معروفة. Okay. Now somebody went to or watched that play and he's giving a review about it. وقلنا review يعني زي رأي. When you go to a place أو when you try something أو when you eat something أو when you buy something online and you give a review on يعني انت كده بتدي رأيك عن المكان ده اللي انت رحته أو الشيء اللي انت اشتريته. So let's have now the review. Last night I went to see Julius Caesar. To see Julius Caesar, which is the play itself, المسرحية. It's a space. I have to use the suitable word and fill in the gap. So it's a, of course, play, مسرحية, by the English writer William Shakespeare. But it's about a Roman ruler. هو حاكم روماني, okay? Caesar's space made him look very important. So Caesar's wit, of course, costume. Costume يعني الزي المسرحي اللي كان لابسه during the play. Okay, the space was amazing and it really looked like ancient Rome. The space, of course, the scenery يعني مشهد الطبيعة اللي كان في background scenes, okay? And it looked like ancient Rome يعني أكنه كان مدينا بالظبط انطباع as if it's Rome أو روما، مدينة روما القديمة. In my opinion, when I give review about something, I say from my point of view, in my opinion, I think لازم to use these phrases يعني العبارات دي أنا لازم أستخدمها. Okay? So, in my opinion, the story is very sad and I cried at the end. From my point of view, دي اللي أنا بقول لكم عليها. From my point of view, some phrases. Okay? The actor here who played Caesar was the best, but all the space was very good. So, all the acting was very good. يعني التمثيل in general كان very good. I will never forget this play, but there wasn't much space. It was mostly talking. So the opposite of talking is the action itself. So here I'm talking about the action. ما كانش فيه action أو أحداث كتيرة، فكان فيه talking, a lot of talking يعني كلام كتير, which made the writer somehow bored. يعني الtalking الكتير في المسرحيات ممكن يخلينا إحنا كجمهور شوية حاسين بالملل. Okay. If you watch a Shakespeare play, you should know that the language of the space is different to modern English. So it can be difficult to understand. So here I'm talking about the language of course, the script, النص المسرحي. All the plays written by William Shakespeare somehow are written in Old English أو بكلمات English قديمة شوية, different to the modern English, يعني شوية مختلفة عن الإنجليش اللي احنا بندرسه دلوقتي in modern age. That's why it can be somehow difficult if you don't know the Old English and you are reading the script itself. Okay? So, you don't need to know how to play an instrument. Okay. Here we have another writing part. Read the notice and write an email to Mr. Zaki in your notebook. It's on page 33. So I want you now to get ready with page 33. Okay? And here we are abided by writing this short email. Okay? help with special concert at Children's Hospital. Now we will read like an email or a part, and then we will write it. You don't need to know how to play an instrument or sing, but we need people who can paint scenery, help with makeup and costumes, and help the children before and after the concert. Email Mr. Zaki, the music teacher, if you would like to help. This is the heading أو ده الحاجة اللي أنا هكتب عليها الإيميل. ده التوبيك أو الهيدنج أو الموضوع اللي أنا هتكلم عليه. Now I am going to send Mr. Zaki, this one, an email, of course formal email, okay? And then I will offer a help if I can help him doing the makeup, doing sewing the costumes, or doing any other activity during the play. ده الإيميل اللي احنا هنكتبه. So let's see now. Here, now we have a sample of the email, and I prepared it for you, but of course you have the total choice and freedom to change any words of yours. Here I have to start with Dear Mr. Zaki. If you are sending a formal email, يعني email رسمي, I have to start with Dear or Madam, okay? Then Dear Mr. Zaki and comma. Then here I am introducing myself first to Mr. Zaki because maybe he doesn't know me. My name is Hannah, comma, and I am 14 years old. I am sending you this email to offer you some help for the play you are going to perform soon. I know well that I am not perfect at playing any musical instrument, but I have other talents that may be helpful for you. Talents means مواهب, okay? يعني أنا ممكن ما أكونش شاطرة في عزف آلة معينة من أدوات الموسيقى, but I can do other activities. Let's see what the examples of them. Now, for example, I can لازم أحط transitions. The transitions دي, like for example, also, furthermore, such as, I have to add certain words, okay? Because it organizes my email or my writing in general. For example, I can help with makeup as I can do it perfectly. Also, another talent of mine, I know how to sew the costumes. وقلنا sewing الcostumes يعني إن أنا بخيط أو بفصل ملابس أو أزياء للمسرحية for the play. Furthermore معناها also, I am able to paint the scenery. I can paint well. بعرف أرسم كويس. Okay, I want you to focus on something very important here. I varied the ability methods أو الطريقة اللي احنا to show ability with أو المقدرة, okay? I have to vary. يعني مرة أقول I can, like this one. I can help with makeup. I can do it. Also, I know how to, plus infinitive. Okay, so as we remember, as we explained before, إن احنا if we want to show ability to do something, لو أنا عايزة أقول المقدرة على حاجة, I can use can plus infinitive or can't plus infinitive. I can use know how to plus infinitive or don't know how to plus infinitive, or I can say I am able to or she's able to or you're able to. I have to vary the expressions of mine while writing any piece of writing. Here, we have some vocab words that are needed to be matched with their suitable phrases. If you know how to cook, so what's the suitable phrase here, or what's the suitable part to complete this sentence? Of course, if you know how to cook, of course, you should work in a restaurant. Number 2, if you are allergic to nuts, and allergic means إن أنت عندك حساسية to nuts, so what's the suitable one? E. Okay, you should be careful when you eat cakes or biscuits. لازم لو احنا عندنا حساسية من حاجة, I have to take care while eating cakes or biscuits or any desserts. If you are really full, the expression قلنا معناه I'm really full, I can't eat anything else. Okay, يعني شبعان. So if you are really full, it's A. You shouldn't have any more chicken. Now, if you start an email with dear sir or madam, what's the suitable part? Of course, you should end it with yours faithfully, as we did in the previous email. أنا ابتديت ب dear Mr. Any name, okay? Mr. Zaki, for example, and I ended with yours faithfully, and then my name Hannah plus my father's name. If you are able to paint scenery, it's B. You should help with the end of a year show. And here, if you love history, of course, you should, of course, go to a museum. So that was just a recap on some of the vocab words we covered in the previous units. Here we have a lot of words, mainly for unit 8. So we have action, best, action قلنا الحدث، best الأفضل، buy اشتري، cartoons الشخصيات الكرتونية اللي بتترسم، costumes اللي هي الأزياء المسرحية، made مصنوع، phones طبعا is so easy، photographs is so easy، recommend يعني like suggest أو يقترح حاجة أو يوصي بحاجة، scenery and we said it already in the previous slides، sculptures can you remember sculptures؟ تماثيل okay and point of view like from my point of view يعني I think يعني من وجهة نظري. So here we are gonna read some articles or some reviews and we have to fill in using the suitable words. The people look like معناها يشبه. The people look like they are from ancient Egypt because the space are very good. Okay, so what am I talking about here? Of course, it's the costumes because it made me know how they look. But the person who painted the space did not know how to paint. So the person who painted the, of course, the scenery, الخلفية أو ال background scenes. Now, it was very long and I didn't like the music. I wouldn't space this. So of course I wouldn't recommend this because I didn't like it, so I wouldn't recommend it. يعني مش بقترحه على حد إنه يجربه. Article B. The articles are always really interesting to read and they have fantastic space too. I really like the space because they make me laugh. So if I'm talking about laughing, of course here I need cartoons and photographs. Okay? Then, if you want to learn about the word today, you should space this. What's the suitable word? Can you guess? It's buy this, to buy this. Okay. From my space, of course it's a phrase and we know it. From my, طبعا from my point of view, this is the best place to find out, يعني يكتشف, find out about life in the last century. Century, it means 100 years, يعني القرن. Okay? There are interesting space and some other amazing old technology. So if I'm talking about technology, of course the suitable word is, yes, phones. I love the big old sculptures because I'm talking about last century. يبقى أنا بتكلم على حاجة in the old or in the past times or the history. For here, review D. The story was very slow and there was very little, of course, action. I didn't really enjoy it because it made me feel sad. It made me feel sad. And I want you to focus on something. When I have made here, and I have a person, here I have infinitive verb. When I add make or made plus somebody, I add the verb after this person in the infinitive form. يعني في المصدر. Okay? It made me feel sad. The space thing about it was learning what it's like to be blind. So of course the best thing about it. Okay? So here we are done with everything concerning the grammar lessons, vocab words, writing parts that we tackled actually throughout the previous units. So now we are done with our session of today, and by next time, inshallah, we will be meeting again, and I want you to get ready for the new unit of next time, inshallah. Thank you and stay safe. Bye.